Everybody is hurting in some way. That is something that I learned, and it took a big event in my life to learn that. Everybody's hurting. Everybody's dragging their shit around. And that coffee shop girl, I don't know what her story was, but I made up one that was accommodating enough to me to show her some patience and some kindness. Maybe she wasn't indecisive. Maybe she really was just savoring something she hadn't had in a long time. And maybe the best thing that I could do in that moment was give her the gift of patience.
Welcome to All Can, No Can't, the podcast where we toss out excuses, face our fears, and reclaim control. I'm Jeff Luther, your guide to mastering the chaos and turning obstacles into opportunities. Whether you're an entrepreneur navigating the ups and the downs of building a successful business, or someone ready to rewrite the rules of your life, this is your space to grow, to push boundaries, and to embrace doing the hard shit that leads to greatness. Together, we'll explore stories of resilience, strategies for overcoming, and the mindset shifts that let you build a life on your terms. I use my experience with a life-altering diagnosis to help you find the can in every can't. So buckle up, because it's time to stop living in can't and start thriving in all can. You choose.
Welcome to another episode of All Can, No Can't, where we turn obstacles into opportunities. And I'm your host, Jeff Luther. This is where we talk about life, business, and the lessons that come from some of the hardest moments that we endure. My goal is simple. It's really, I want to give stories and tools and experience, share things that help keep moving you forward 30 seconds at a time. Today I'm going to talk about the invisible backpack. This is kind of pursuant, it is pursuant. I talked a while back about the 5 things I learned, my 5 lessons from dying. And we've gone through 2, I think. So this would be the 3rd. And we'll get there. So really, this is kind of a long way around it. But this past weekend, I was with my girlfriend. We were in Chattanooga for a quick getaway. And we went to a coffee shop one morning. It was a nice coffee shop. The only thing, like, I hate waiting in line for food. Like, that's one thing I don't like. I don't mind, waiting at a coffee shop, waiting in line to grab coffee or something. This was a nicer coffee shop that had kind of an extensive menu. We walk in and there's, I don't know, like 10 people in front of us. So my patience almost sent me back out the door. So we decided to wait. And as we're waiting, we're getting further along in line. And ultimately, there is a girl that's in line, gets to the counter, and it took her it was over 10 minutes for her to order. But the thing about it was, it wasn't like she had a couple of questions. She was so indecisive. And we were about, we were about 4 people back. So we were very close to the conversation. She would pick one thing and then, no, I don't want that. Explain this to me. It was painful, to say the least. So as this girl's going through the menu, the girl taking her order was super kind and patient. She didn't have much of a choice. But you could feel people started to shift. They're shifting their weight from one foot to the other. Arms are crossing. And the woman that's in front, there's a couple in front of us, and the woman in front of me turns and looks at me and just rolls her eyes. She is absolutely she's over it. And I got impatient also, like super impatient. So she just couldn't make up her mind. Finally she orders, and you could see like that sigh of relief. And now it's getting uncomfortable because people are getting a little bit vocal about their disapproval of how much time it's taken her to order. So she orders and she starts to walk off. She goes back. She goes, no, that's not it. And everybody's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And even myself, I'm going to be brutally honest here, like super honest. This girl clearly did not take care of her health. Her physique displayed that she wasn't too concerned about what she put in her body, how she treated her body. So now I'm going to be completely vulnerable and risk you thinking I'm really not a good person. But this will show kind of what's in all of us, I think. So I'll lead the way. So my head went to, oh, wait a second. Now you're going to stand here in line and pretend like you can't have whole milk, or you don't want to put this in your body, or you want to know what the ingredients are because you take such good care of your body. Or you're taking so long because you want to make sure that you get enough food in whatever it is that you order. So in my mind, I got pretty ugly. And of course, I wouldn't share that with anyone at the time. But that's where my head was. And then I looked for her invisible backpack. What's this girl carrying? What weight does she have that we don't see? What's she dragging around that we don't know about? Where is she hurting? And once I assume that there's that unseen weight, then my judgment turns to empathy. So until I ask myself, what's her pain? Where's her invisible backpack? What's she dragging around? I live in that world of judgment, and it's just that one little switch. It's just, we're just standing. I'm on vacation. I don't need to be in a hurry. I'm with a beautiful woman standing in line. Like, I don't need to go anywhere. So we get done, we get up there and we order our coffee, and the folks in front of us order there, and the folks in front of us were, kind of beyond themselves. They were almost angry. So we order, we walk outside, we get our coffee and our breakfast, and my girlfriend says, I wonder what that was all about. And I was like, well, what if this is the first time? And so when I, invisible backpack. So when I'm standing in line and thinking invisible backpack, this is where my head goes. And I was like, all right, this isn't doing anyone any good. The best gift I can give this girl is patience. And how do I find it? So I think, okay, what if she's been on hard times? What if this is the first time in a really long time she was able to save enough money and have enough left over at the end of the month that this was the first opportunity for her to go out and get a coffee and breakfast and have someone make it for her. And she just doesn't want to fuck it up. She just wants it to be really, really good and wants to savor it and wants to enjoy it. Or what if this is the first time this girl gets to go out and have breakfast because she's caring for a sick parent? What if this is the first time this girl gets to go out and have breakfast because she has to take care of kids every morning? And what if she has a kid with special needs? What if? And she just wants to get it right. Can't we all be patient enough for her to do that? So when I said that, when we talked about that, it was like, oh, yeah, maybe that's one way to look at it. And then I said, I wonder if that girl knows that she has a problem making decisions. I wonder what that weight is like. I wonder if it burdens her to go out and order a cup of coffee. I wonder if she has such a problem making decisions that her therapist makes her go out once a week to order coffee because she's forcing herself to make a decision. You never know what people are dragging around. But shit, it could be this girl likes to just go to coffee shops and fuck with people and stand in line for a long time. Who knows? I don't care. Are you feeling stuck? Overwhelmed? It's like you're fighting against something that you can't even see or name. I've been there, literally. I survived sudden cardiac death, and I rebuilt everything. I've mastered the art of controlling the chaos. Now I coach a small group of high performers that are willing to do the work to do the same thing. No fluff, no excuses, we just get results. If you're ready to take back control, apply now at jeffluther.com. This is all can, no can. It's how I deal with it. It's the story that I tell myself. So that's one of the things that I learned from dying is everybody's hurting. So I had my heart episode in June. It was June of 2021, and I didn't think it was real. I didn't. It didn't really rattle me. I was dead for 8 minutes. I had a grim diagnosis, and that did not really rattle me because I didn't believe it. I didn't think it was real. So after 30 days from my surgery, actually 30 days and 1 week later, it happened to me again, and that shook me to my core. That was July the 19th of 2021. That was painful. That was devastating. And my life changed drastically. In August of 2021, my wife of 23 years filed for divorce, and that sent me to a really dark place for longer than I wanted to be there. And I got to a place where, like, I would go back to that CrossFit gym with my son, and I went in there one day and they had the CrossFit games on all the televisions in there. And it was hard for me to watch. It was hard for me to have any kind of adrenaline, any kind of excitement, any kind, because it put me in fear of watching people work out. It put me in fear of what was going to happen to me. And I thought, how dare you? How dare you have this on TV? Don't you know what kind of pain I'm in? I remember walking on the beach one day. I would go and I was trying to process all this stuff, trying to find some gratitude. And I was walking on the beach and this couple passed me. They were holding hands and smiling, and they were clearly happy. And I thought, how dare you? How dare you walk past me that happy, holding hands? Do you have any idea what kind of pain I'm in? And that's how I felt. It wasn't just a saying. And then I started, I was trying to figure out how I was going to work out, and I had gone back to the gym, and I had a coach that saved my life, basically. And I was trying to work through how I was going to work out, but people would see me, and there were a couple times when people would come up to me and say, hey, yeah, I'm really proud of you being here. I know how it feels, because one time I had this shoulder thing, but it's not like a heart. I had this shoulder thing, not as bad as yours. I was like, yeah, it is. It's the same. It's the pain. You have the same pain that I have. They just happen to be different pieces of your body. We're all dragging something around. We're all dragging our shit. It just doesn't always show up on the outside. So that's the invisible backpack. So the practical application here, and that's, this is all just talking until you think about the practicality of it. The practical application is to spot it, to shift it, and then, if you can, to silently serve. That's the way that I look at this. So to spot it, like I spotted it in that coffee line. I spotted it. Man, I was irritated. And I wonder too if watching people's body language made me realize, you can't change people, but you can be the change. You can't change people, but how you react to people is the only thing you can control. So watching people, and I was almost fearful of it getting ugly towards this girl. So you notice the irritation, you notice your size, you notice your judgment, and that's a big thing too, noticing your own judgment. It's hard to do because it becomes innate behavior, it's just a pattern. And then you shift it. So the way to shift it is to ask, okay, what pain could this person be in that would make this behavior make sense? What would make this make sense? So with that girl, what would make that behavior in the coffee line make sense? And the story I told myself makes sense. This is the first time she's been able to go out and get coffee in a year, whether it's because of obligations at home to maybe a parent, maybe an in-law, maybe children, maybe pets. Maybe she just truly couldn't get enough ahead financially every month to go out and just sit and have a cup of coffee, or sit and have a pastry, or sit and have something to eat that someone else had prepared in the morning. That would make that behavior make sense. And then how do you silently serve? Just one step of kindness. just a smile, patience. Like I said earlier, the best gift I could ever have given that girl was my patience. So like, instead of it, like in traffic, people cut us off and we get angry and we shake our fist at them or whatever it is. What pain could they be in that would make that behavior make sense? Sick kid in the car, sick kid at the hospital, trying to get to the hospital, late for an interview. We've all done that. Yeah, that doesn't, if we're sitting here in our calmness, that doesn't make sense, and we probably wouldn't defend that. But we've all been late for an interview, late for an appointment, late for work, late for a really important meeting that we had. And then that slow driver. So we're behind that slow driver. They're not in the hurry that we're in. They're just taking their time, probably sit at a green light a little longer than we would like them to. What's that shift? So you notice the irritation and you ask, what would make this behavior make sense? What would make them drive that slow? So maybe instead of rolling our eyes or getting irritated with them or impatient with them, maybe we think, well, what if they're just coming back from a funeral and they're collecting their thoughts? Maybe. It doesn't have to be a funeral. What if they just moved a kid into their first apartment and it's a few hours away from them, they're not going to see them every day, and they're just reflecting? Could we give them that space? Maybe. Give it a shot. So my challenge, I'm going to invite you to catch yourself. Catch yourself in your next irritation moment, your next impatient moment. And then give yourself the coffee shop test. You notice the irritation. Maybe you flip the story. Maybe you can make up your own story, right? Give that person a generous explanation and then respond differently. That's the silently serving, the silent serve. So everybody is hurting in some way. That is something that I learned, and it took a big event in my life to learn that everybody's hurting. Everybody's dragging their shit around. That coffee shop girl, I don't know what her story was, but I made up one that was accommodating enough to me to show her some patience and some kindness. Maybe she wasn't indecisive. Maybe she really was just savoring something she hadn't had in a long time. And maybe the best thing that I could do in that moment was give her the gift of patience. That is like empathy in action, I think. So that's it. That's today's episode. It truly is the invisible backpack. If nothing else, take that from this episode, the invisible backpack. So the next time you find yourself getting irritated, whether it's in line at a coffee shop, stuck in traffic, dealing with someone who just can't make a decision, flip the story. Ask yourself, what might they be carrying that I can't see? And what I would love is to hear from you. Share your own coffee shop moments, whether it's something that happened in the past. The story with the girl is kind of a funny story. If I could really describe how it all went down, it's kind of a funny story. It was crazy. She had the girl going through the drinks on the menu, and finally the girl's like, I can't give you every drink item. There had to be over 20. But share your own coffee shop moment. You can shoot me a DM. You can drop a comment on our Instagram page. Drop a comment here. You could drop a comment on our YouTube channel. Anywhere you can find me. Send me an email. It's jdluther@gmail.com is probably the easiest. And if you would consider posting it publicly, your story might just be the reminder that somebody else needs. To flip that script, to find to spot it, to shift it, and to silently serve and give somebody a gift. Thanks for listening. This is All Can, No Can't, where we turn obstacles into opportunities. And remember, everybody's carrying shit around. let's try to give each other a little more grace. Thanks for listening. And if you like what you hear here, or somebody that needs to hear it, click that like button below or forward it on to a friend. I'd be grateful.
Thanks for listening to All Can, No Can't. If today's episode resonated with you, remember, it's not about the chaos you face. It's about how you choose to take back control. It's about finding that one small can in the can't you're given and grinding it down. Find your angle, carve your place out in the world, and get the fucking win. Do that by finding what you can do and not listening to what you can't. You choose. Be sure to subscribe, share, and leave a review. Your support helps me reach more people that are ready to embrace the all-can mindset. And it lets them know there's someone that's willing to walk with them no matter how dark the path gets. You can find me on Insta at JDLuther 2.0 and allcan_no-can't. This is where I share more tips, stories, inspiration to help fuel your journey. And until next time, keep pushing boundaries, breaking limits, proving to yourself that anything is possible, even when you're told it isn't. Remember, life's not about can't. It's all can. Go prove them wrong.